You're ahead. By a lot.
Once. Goddamn, fellas, this has got to be the most off-the-rail session I have ever recorded. We've had a few on the vlog, the Copa Club. There's a 4-1 where it was just crazy. This session, I genuinely think I played more hands as bad as you could compared to correctly. You guys that like to hate watch the vlogs are going to have a field day. I put in $600 with the worst hand almost guaranteed. There's just so much stuff to get into. If you want to leave some criticism, you're going to have to write an essay. You might have to write multiple comments. It was that crazy of a session. Let's get into it. All right, gents and 4% of ladies who are very appreciated. The first hand we look down of note is 7-9 of diamonds from the big blind. Under the gun opens to 10. The cutoff calls, and when it gets back to me in the big blind, I put in the call. Under the gun only has about $100 in a stack, so maybe not the best idea to call someone that's likely going to jam and is on tilt, as I've been able to see verbally. He's clearly not very happy. 3 ways to a flop of ace, 7, 5 with 2 hearts. I check in flow. Interestingly, under the gun checks, and then the cutoff bets out for $15. This cutoff player is pretty aggressive. Nice guy. I play with him a lot, so I can't fold second pair here. I put in the call. And then under the gun, back jams all in for 79. If the cutoff calls, I plan on folding, but he doesn't. He puts in the fold, and when it's on me, live, I was thinking more towards call, but looking back on it, if he has an ace, we're very well behind. If he's got 2 overs that include a flush draw, it's a coin flip. I don't understand how many bluffs there are here. I don't think there are a ton that we're way ahead of. So looking back, it's actually a fold. But if we're talking about it, you know I put in the call. The board comes out the 8 of clubs and the 10 of hearts, and I tell him if you have a pair, you're probably good. And he flips over a hand I was not expecting. Pocket kings. That is extremely confusing. The cutoff bets, I call, and then he jams with pocket kings. If I had an ace, I'm not folding. He probably hated seeing that run out because he loses to an ace and the 10 of hearts. But little does he know, I called him with second pair for no reason, and we give him a double up. Congratulations. We're off to a pretty hot start. Let's see if we can keep going. How about the good old 5-8 of clubs to get everything back on track? I end up calling a bet pre-flop, calling a bet on the flop that I flop a flush draw, and then when a guy jams on the turn, I have to fold. The big hands keep coming as we look down at king 8 of clubs from the cutoff. I have an up to 10. The hijack calls, under the gun calls. At this point, I'm not super deep. I've been mentioning this a few times. People aren't super happy about it. Normally, I'd be topping up, but like the last couple months, as you've probably seen in this vlog, it's been a tough time. So I am trying to kind of mitigate it, even though this vlog may not seem like it. I've been playing better in other vlogs. Sue me. We look down at king 8 of clubs. I have an up to 10. Couple of calls to a flop of 10, jack, 7 with 1 club. Not ideal, but when the hijack leads for 15, I'm not in the mood to fold to a donk bet into me as a pre-flop aggressor. The turn is as good as it can get. How about the queen of clubs? We pick up a gutter, or an open-ender rather, a flush draw, maybe the best card in the deck. The hijack continues again, and again, we both call. The river is the king of diamonds. We make top pair. But interestingly, under the gun and the hijack both check to me. I've got about 60-ish in my stack. Do I think we have the best hand? We might, but I think a jam should get through. No one has an ace. I imagine they would bet to me, and I open pre-flop. I'm the most likely to have an ace. Not sure if it's a bluff or not, but I'm going with a merge bet here. I go all in for 60-ish, and they pretty quickly both fold, so we're back in the right direction. We win a pot. The seeds of bluffing have been sown. Let's see if we can try it again. I'm on the button straddle with 6-8 of spades. There's a bunch of calls, and when it gets to me, it's a decent hand. Well, you know, I'm going to raise to 30, try to take it down. The only caller is the guy I predicted is going to call, the +1. Gives a ton of action. He's been in a couple of vlogs. Really fun guy to play with. So we're heads up to a flop of king, jack, king. Now, this not only smashes my range, but he could definitely have missed this with better hands, ace, queen high, 10 high, even 9 high. So I am incentivized to bet here. I see bet for $40, anticipating folds from everything that's not a king, a jack, or a pocket pair. And he does. We get it through. Next time we look down at king 4 diamonds, we are yet to see a real hand, but that's not going to stop me from trying to get in there. A lady I don't know opens it up to 12. Is she one of the 4% of female vlog watchers? Probably not, but maybe she could be. I put in the call. We're heads up to a flop of 5-5 queen with 2 spades. She checks to me, and although we're in a bluffy mood today, I don't think there's any point in betting unless she has a better ace or king high. I'm just going to check it back here. The turn is the king of hearts. I think that's pretty cool. I would bet if I got checked to, but I don't. Now she bets into me. I can't fold here yet. I put in the call. The river is an ace, and she checks to me. I'm very certain now that she just has a king and we're very likely chopping. So I think we have the green line here to bet big to get her off a chop. I bet out for $65 once she checks to me. And she pretty quickly folds after showing a king. We win another hand. And this one, I think we played the right way, at least post-flop. Wow, what do you know? I get pocket sevens, don't really hit the flop, have to fold. And then we get to the point of the vlog where every hand starts to go completely off the rails. I'm under the gun with queen jack offsuit and open to 11, which is my first mistake. It gets to the big blind, the guy on my right, and he 3-bets to $35. Queen jack is usually just going to be a muck here, but this player is a guy I would like to get into pots with. He tends to overvalue very marginal hands repeatedly, like yours truly. So I actually put in the call, and so does a small blind. To a flop of jack 10-6, we make top pair with a good kicker. The small blind checks, and then the big blind does what I thought he was going to do, which is continue for $75. I know it's a pretty big bet, and we're just starting to get our feet back, but I really think this is a guy that when I get top pair, decent kicker, I'm just going to have to go with it. So I put in the call, and the small blind check jams for $255. The big blind now goes into the tank. I'm talking a deep tank. He starts thinking, man, I don't know, should I, shouldn't I? And he puts in the fold. When it gets to me, I'm really not happy, clearly. I mean, we block some two pairs. We have a jack. Does he have like king, queen? Does he have a straight draw that says, screw it, let's just get it in right now? This is just a nasty spot. I do think, I don't know about you guys, I feel like people with draws tend to lead more compared to check raising more. If they're going to bluff, they want to bluff into you. Could he be saying, hey, I'm going to get it all in on the turn anyways, why not try to maximize any fold equity? He could be, so this is really gross, and I think you should probably be leaning towards the good old 1-2 thought process of they have it, because most of the time they will. I don't know much about this guy, actually nothing, which again is pretty rare at Shuffle. I don't know how he plays. I think it's close, but it is lean towards a fold. But you guys know what I did. I put in the call with one pair. Oh, God. And he shows jack 10. We're drawing to 3 outs, and I only go once. The turn is the 3 of clubs, and the river is the 5 of hearts. We lose, and I get stacked with one pair. Wow. You know, didn't have to open with queen jack there. Didn't have to call the 3-bet. Didn't have to call in the bet and the flopper. Actually, I think I did, but I didn't have to call the jam. That was just a weird hand. Did I play that any street correctly? I mean, post-flop, is it fine? I think the first call is fine. Can I be folding for 175 there? I would like some input from y'all post-flop, but anyways, I rebuy. A few hands later, this next hand happens. Also, I forgot to mention, that guy's tank in the last hand was like 2 freaking minutes. I edited that after the audio. Holy shit. I mean, that would never end. I had to keep scrolling. Also, for any of you that wondering, the big blind had a king 10 is what he said he folded. With second pair, he tanked for 2 minutes. Anyways, we look down at queen 9 from the small blind. There's a low jack open to 15. The hijack calls. The button calls. I shouldn't be, but I put in the call. There's some other callers. We're way multi-way to a flop of queen jack 8. I have queen 9. We have top pair and a gutter. Actually think about leading here because I think anyone that's got something decent might put in a bigger bet. So I actually lead for 20. Is this kind of a naming my own price bet, seeing where I'm at? Yeah, it kind of is. This is really weird. I don't really lead into multi-way fields, especially not as the aggressor, but I do here. And we do get a couple of calls. It gets to the button, and he raises to 75. Now, this is a weird spot with top pair and a gutter. I know it's a raise, but the pot's already big, and this guy is really crazy. I mean, I could hit my straight, and I could just stack him with a one-liner. I really could. Maybe not the best call ever, but I put in the call, and we're heads up to a turn of the queen of spades. I check. He bets for 135, and I get called for a table change. I literally tell him, hey, you got to give me a second. I might get stacked right here. And then I think there's only one thing to do with 195. We've got trips here. If he's got a boat, he's got a bigger kicker. I mean, congratulations. Or if he has a straight, I have to do what I have to do here. I'm all in for 195, and he calls and flips over queen 6 of hearts. So he's got a flush draw, chop outs, boat outs. We've got to dodge a whole lot of the deck. Let's see what the river is. It's the 3 of spades. We win with a kicker. We win a massive pot, and now we're into the black on the entire session. You love to see it. And I end up going to a new table. I then switch tables, as I said, with my newly found big stack, as no one here knows is mostly my own money. And we look down at ace-king offsuit, our first real hand, and raise it up to 15 from the cutoff. I only get 2 calls from the button and the small blind. 2 flop of ace, queen, 7 with 2 hearts. When it gets to me, I see bet for $25 and only the button calls. The turn is the 4 of diamonds. And I think I make another mistake here. I should be sizing up a little bit. We're really only losing to ace queen, ace 7 suited or sets. He's probably got a worse ace or hearts, which I'm really worried about. I bet for $50 and he calls. And the river is the jack of hearts. There's 2 pairs. There's flushes. There's straights. That is a nightmare card. I do think a blocker bet is in order. This player has been playing really tight lately. He is a vlog watcher and is a thinking player. So could he be raising me as a bluff after watching my vlogs and me calling him tight? Yes, he could. But I think a blocker bet, and if I get raised, fold strategy is the move here. I bet out for $40. He does raise, but god damn, he raises to 300. This actually has me thinking because it's so damn big. It just, I mean, I guess maybe he's thinking I could have sets here and I have no fold hands like that, but I think it's just too big, and the player type, this is really confusing. I just put in the fold with the ace here. This next hand is probably the craziest we've ever had on the vlog. I actually think it is #1 overall on the holy shit scale. You guys can let me know what you think, the constant vlog watchers. Thank you again. Enough talk. I don't need to preview it anymore because I think you guys are going to want to talk after the hand, maybe an explanation. I've got 8-6 of clubs and open up to 15. I was just kind of feeling it a little bit here. The clowniness from the other table is not worn off yet. I get a ton of calls, and then a guy 3-bets me to 105. I'm deep, and he has more than me. He covers me, so this is a really surprisingly big 3-bet. This is a guy, I mentioned there's some people that I don't want to play with, very few and far between. This guy's not on that list, but he's close. He's just so aggressive. I think he just comes to the table to try to bully people. That's all he does. He's the laggiest player I've ever seen. Some days, I'm like, boy, he's giving a bunch of action. I'm happy. And other days, I'm just tired of the shit. I'm like, are you serious? 105? This can't be queens through aces. They don't want to bet that big. I think this is maybe ace queen, ace king, pocket tens, or maybe just nothing, trying to steal it with his big stack. I've had enough of this guy. I really have. I 4-bet to 215. Now, I think it should be a bit bigger, as this is clearly a 4-bet bluff. But 1, you got to give me props for trying. And 2, screw this guy, as I've already said. So hopefully he folds. Shocker, he doesn't. There's like almost $500 in the middle right now, and I've got 8 high. I need to hit this board. The flop comes ace 10 7 with 1 club. He checks to me, and I'm not big into pretending this hits my range, but damn it, this is the moment if there ever was. I see bet for 125, and I hear the 2 magical words, all in. He check shoves. I've got around 200 left in my stack. In the moment, I wasn't thinking about how I'm actually technically getting the pot odds with 200 to win like 1100 with a gutter. In real time, I was thinking, god damn it, I hate this guy. But at the end of the day, it's night, and I really want to stack this guy. So this is what happened.
Oh, you're ahead by a lot. One second.
I have the nuts. Yeah, I know, right? That was, woo, I cannot believe that happened. Every time I watch it, I will admit, I smile. It's like a bird flight for the first time. Was that incredibly stupid? Yes. I'm going to try to justify real quick. No, I'm not. Okay, I mean, I 4-bet bluff, that's fine. I c-bet, fine. I call with correct odds. But holy god, don't do that at your tables. That is not something you need to do. Not something I'm going to do that much. It just happened. I've had enough of this guy, and oh my god, I'm so happy I hit a gutter on him. And yes, someone might be wondering, I know a king jack is actually the nuts, but I had the effective nuts. I knew I was good. And no one can ever call me a nit or claim that I only go once when I'm ahead, because golly, that was a proof to the contrary. You might think that the vlog was over. I actually just feel like I graduated college again after that hand. It just felt like a finale. I don't know why. But next hand, almost a few hands later, actually, we look down at ace-king offsuit. I have it up to 15 and get 3-bet by a guy that's got 99 in his stack to 30. This is one of the tightest players at shuffle, so I don't love getting 3-bet, but he's short-stacked. I've got ace-king. There's nothing really to do here. I'm all in. He snap calls because my image is pretty dang loose after I just showed the 8-6 hand. He shows pocket jack, so it's just a friendly flip between gentlemen. Let's see what happens. Nice hand. All right, so next hand, we look down at Big Chick from the button. I pop it up to $12 and only get a call from the guy from the ace-king hand that hit the jack of hearts on the river on us, we think. So time to see what round 2 looks like. The flop is 7-10-4 with 2 clubs. Not great, but when he checks to me, I c-bet for $15 and he calls.
The turn is great. It's the ace of spades. He checks to me again, and I size up a little bit here. There are a lot of draws. Maybe I should be going a bit bigger. I bet out for $30, and he calls. The river is the king of spades. And what do you know? He leads into me for 75. Deja vu again. Now, this is a weird one as I have the ace of clubs, so this means that he wasn't floating us with a nut flush draw, which I think leans us towards a fold. I mean, what does he have here? I think if I didn't know what he had and I was in my right mind, clearly this session I was going bonkers. It feels like two pair. Ace 4, ace 7. I don't think he's not limping ace king to me, but it's just weird. Maybe he's got a backdoor draw of some sort. It just feels very odd. I folded top pair to him once. This time the draw seems even less likely because it'd have to be a backdoor draw. Ace king, again, I just don't see that. I think he had to have had two pair by the turn. Am I going to let him bully me again, though? No, I'm not. I put in the call, and it's a bad one. He shows 6-9 of spades. Flopped a gutter, hit a flush draw on the turn, and then hit it on the river, and we paid off again, which makes me feel better about that fold from earlier, but still sucks to lose his hand. I was literally about to leave, packing up my stuff, and we looked down at pocket kings, so I missed the beginning of the hand. I have no idea what it was. I imagine I opened, and I know we're 4 ways to a flop, with an ace in the window, followed by a king, and another 6 with a flush draw. So we have middle set on a very wet board. I see bet for $50, trying to get value from everything. Only the guy from the last hand calls. I swear to God, if he hits another diamond, I'm not going to be okay, but we'll get there when we get there. The turn is the 9 of clubs. That's great. Not a diamond, and we still have the effective nuts here. Now it's time to size up. I bet out for 115, and he thinks about it, and eventually just folds. He was very deep. He had me covered. I was really hoping he would just ship it on me, because obviously I'm snap calling. He said he was thinking with queen jack, no diamond. I do not believe that. I think he just had like ace 8, ace 10, and didn't want to mess with it because I was deep. So I wish he would have called, but we win another hand to close out the vlog. After all of that, we lost, remember, with ace king there at the end. We lost with ace queen. We were in for 600, out for 719. After all of those shenanigans, all those all-ins, we made $119. But hey, it made a hell of a vlog. So if you guys enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a sub. It means a lot, helps the channel a ton. I know there's going to be some criticism. Let me have it. I'm Chris, and I'm out. I'll see y'all next time.